If you want to know what the future of bass fishing looks like, you need to tune in to the ever-growing sport of collegiate tournament fishing. Kids can now bass fish on scholarship, and several schools, mostly private colleges, are pouring gobs of money into ambitious programs. Dynasties are being made as we speak. And since the sport isn't recognized by the NCAA, these students can win cash and other prizes, and they can seek out sponsors as they try to turn a degree into a fishing career. The college leagues are run by the same big-name organizations that are behind the pro circuits, namely Bassmaster and Major League Fishing, and as these leagues have grown, they've become the ultimate proving grounds for professional anglers, with hundreds of kids competing for their shot at the pros. I'm Outdoor Life's news editor Dac Collins, and over the course of this summer I've been getting a close-up look at the world of college bass fishing. I traveled down to Tennessee in April for a Bassmaster qualifying tournament on Kentucky Lake. Since then, I've been speaking with anglers, coaches, and tournament organizers about how much these leagues have grown and why they're only getting more competitive. This competition reached a pinnacle over the weekend as some of the nation's top teams competed in the Bassmaster College National Championships on Lake Hartwell. I was able to sit down and chat with the winning team from Blanton University, who brought home the school's first fishing national championship after coming from behind on day 3. We talked about how it felt to finally get a big win. We also talk a little bit about why today's college anglers are tomorrow's bass pros. So I'm in the studio today with Garrett Smith and Andrew Blanton, college bass fishermen from Blanton University. Garrett and Andrew fished together on a 2-man team. They're one of several teams representing the university on the college bass circuits. First things first, congratulations are in order. Big weekend for you guys. Big win down in South Carolina. You guys just took first place at the Bassmaster College National Championships. That was down on Lake Hartwell. Has it sunk in yet?
No, it hasn't, man. It's going to be a while.
Yeah, first reactions, you guys are getting a lot of attention. We're talking right now. You guys were talking to the local news station. What does it feel like having all this attention and representing your school like that?
Man, it feels pretty good. I feel like we was talking about some of the other interviews. How far Lander has come in the past few years, and just to be a part of this program with Coach Liam and just the athletic director here at the school. It feels great, man, to just be a part of it and just kind of to get Lander out there and continue to just hopefully bump us up in that school of the year. So.
Yeah. And on that note, I want to, make it clear for people listening here, this is the first national championship for Blanton University, right?
Yes, sir.
And is this kind of y'all's first big tournament win? In terms of the Bass Series?
With us together, yeah, it's our first major win. I actually won the 2022 Lake Norman Open that for college Bassmasters.
He's 2 years older than me. I'm a junior. He just got through with his senior year. So he was in college before I was. He was fishing, before I was with him. But,
I'm the old man out of the group.
No, I'm glad you guys brought it to that. I want to take back up for just a second and introduce you both. So maybe you can kind of both take turns and just give me your name, what year you guys are at there at Lander, and kind of what you're majoring in right now.
Like I said, I'm a junior, and I'm a business major. That's about the only major that we can make work with this fishing deal. But anyways, now I'm a marketing management major, and so I don't know. Fishing has just always been a big thing in my life, and coming up, through high school. We didn't have a middle school fishing team, so I didn't really start competitively fishing until I was in 9th grade. And, coming up about 9th, 10th grade, I realized, that's what I wanted to do in college. So I quit doing my other sports that I used to play, and then I just focused on it and got an offer from Drew, from our past coach, Drew Pridgeon, and he recruited me to come to Lander, and it's just been a blessing ever since. And I just love the college fishing scene. So.
Yeah, and
Sweet.
My name is Garrett Smith. I grew up in Mount Holly, North Carolina. That's where I'm from. I graduated in May with my degrees in business administration with a focus in marketing and management. I'm starting my master's program, my MBA, here in this fall. Just started up the classes. I'm doing it here at Lander as well, and I'm looking forward to fishing, throughout the next year or so.
Sweet. So if you're in graduate school, you continue just like you were an undergrad, you're going to keep fishing until you finish your studies there at Lander.
Yes, sir. We have 5 years of eligibility on the college series, so I'm going to use them. I'm not going to pass up on that.
Right on. So it sounds like, Andrew, you competed a bit in high school. I mean, did you come to Lander specifically because you want to fish, professionally at that level?
Yes, sir. That's what started it all. It's a dream of mine I've had since I was a little boy. And just I knew that college was the next step. Some people are good enough; they don't got to go to college. But for me, it was not that case. And I'm thankful that I ended up coming to college. So, but yeah, that was why.
What about you, Garrett?
Yeah, I fished in high school myself. I probably wouldn't have gone to college if I wasn't fishing.
Yeah.
Everybody knows me. It's the only reason I'm in school is so I can fish. I mean, I'm getting my master's, but I'm here so I can fish. I was very fortunate enough. I actually started my college fishing career over at Erskine College, and that just didn't quite work out. So I transferred here to Lander, met a bunch of great people. Our old coach Drew brought me in, and it's been uphill ever since.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, Andrew, you kind of mentioned just the growth you've had here in college. I'm curious, just y'all's teammate dynamic. I mean, how long have you guys been fishing together? How has that dynamic sort of made you guys better anglers? And I mean, I imagine at this point you're either really good friends or you can't stand each other. So maybe talk a little bit about how, you guys have come together as teammates and all that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, as soon as I got into school, we was on Lake Greenwood every day, we was out there just putting in the work out there because it's only about 10 minutes from Lander or whatever. And, he took me fishing one day. I was like, dude, that dude's pretty good. I'm going to start fishing with him more. And then, both of our partners, just situations didn't work out. My partner actually, he quit going to college and we just was like, well, let's just fish together next year. And we still, like, whether we're fishing in tournaments or not, we're fishing on Greenwood. We're probably going to go fishing after this.
Honestly, once this gets done, that's where we're going.
That's probably where we're going. So, besides, even if we're not in a tournament, we still fish together and talk about what's going on the lake and stuff. So
we've been fishing together for we're starting our second full season together this fall. So.
Cool. And I mean, is this just been I know you guys had a strong showing over the weekend, but has it been a noticeable improvement, the kind of performance you guys are showing this year compared to your first year fishing together?
Oh, for sure. Our first fall together, I think we did awful. We bombed every turn.
Yeah, we did.
It took us a little bit to get it going, and then once the MLF Hartwell Open hit last year, it's been game on from there.
Yeah. And I mean, something that's kind of been like a big help for us in the past few months. We've had some good tournaments in the past few months, but like I said, the first few weeks, like he was saying, like the first stretch of tournaments we fished together, like we sucked, But,
it was awful.
I think the big thing was, is like us realize, like, because we're both, before we fished together, we're both boaters. We both of us run the boat. Both of us came from a situation where we were running the boat, and it took some time for us to adjust to that because there's a lot of things that he's better at, and it goes both ways, and we just, like I said, if I know for a fact that he's better at me than that technique or whatever, I'm going to let him run the boat and decide where we go and whatnot. And that's kind of how we was able to get the win this weekend, I believe, is because we had a lot of compromise, and I think that's how any good partnership in fishing there's a lot of compromise. So
and it goes both ways. Like I say, if he's better at something, I make sure he's on the front. You have to maximize the abilities of the anglers, and for us, once we figured out who was good at what and how it should operate, that's how it needs to work. Like if we're on the front scoping, I'm getting out of the way.
Well, if just like this past weekend, we was buzz baiting, we wasn't using live scope. I let he was taking over.
So, I mean, part of it's just you guys meshing as a team, playing off each other's strengths and weaknesses. What about just the support from the team at Lander? How have you guys just grown by fishing on a bigger team and learning from, your larger teammates, I should say?
It's been a great experience because every kid on the team has a different background and different experiences. You've got people from all the way up north. We have people just coming in from down in Florida, the Carolinas. It's and everybody has a different view on it. So you can always be learning from someone else, and utilizing that information has been a big key. The teamwork as a whole has been amazing, and communicating at these tournaments helps with being able to succeed and put yourself in a position where you can go out and win one. And now that also doesn't come without like the help from our coach Liam and the support that Lander has given us from the school.
Yeah, and so speaking of that support, are you guys? Did you guys come to fish on scholarship when you came to Lander?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So you're getting support there, but they're also, I mean, helping support you guys in terms of, you know, traveling across the country, everything you guys need to do to organize these tournaments. I mean, it's no small, it's a serious financial undertaking, right? To be able to do this.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And then I think one other thing that, you know, that I've just been sort of blown away by the more that I, you know, learn about this world, and it's just like how serious you guys are taking this and how many just really strong fishermen they are. So, I mean, we're talking hundreds of anglers who are going up against each other. So maybe just, you know, for those who haven't been following the college circuit, maybe just speak to the competitiveness of that of the other anglers and what you guys have gotten out of that in the last couple of years.
Well, yeah, I'm telling you, just the weights from these tournaments never cease to blow me away every time. Like, it does not matter how tough, like we all talk, the whole team talks about practice and how practice is going. And I mean, it does not matter how tough practice seems. Like, it never ceases to blow me away, the weights and just how consistent these guys are and how they're able to back it up the next day. And I mean, just like, you can't even, like, no offense to any BFL guys whatsoever, but like there's been a lot of tournaments where there was a BFL like the weekend before or something, and like you can't compare the weights. You can't because the college guys are just going to show out so much because that's just how it is. These guys, they live and breathe it.
Yeah, it's not even close. The college series to me is almost as competitive as the opens. Like, and I mean, you look at someone like Easton who came straight from the college series. He's out there dominating the opens. You have a lot of it's college guys. As soon as they graduate, they go to the opens, they compete, and it's the guys that you see dominating in the college series. And I'm not saying that we're all just amazing fishermen, but a lot of the college series is just as competitive as some of these other fields.
Yeah, and I mean, by extension, that competition makes you guys stronger competitors. I mean, I think that's what I keep hearing out there is that, the more we're around better competition, the better we're getting. What has been, I guess, your favorite parts about the whole experience about fishing in college?
Getting to travel with the team.
For sure.
Going all over the country, seeing all these legendary fisheries. Because, like, you grew up watching the Bassmasters. You'd watch all the old shows, like everything. They're on Gunners. They're like Gunnersville, Toho, like all these different places. And you get to travel to them. A lot of times the school's helping you pay for it, if not paying for all of it. And you get to go hang out with all your buddies for a week and fish some of the greatest places in the nation, and then some of the worst too.
Yeah,
we go to some tough places, man.
But yeah, for me, it's the traveling and just like it's just amazing how much you can grow as an angler just fishing in college for 1 year.
Yeah, as you guys continue to compete and look towards the future, I mean, are you guys still buying for a career in that professional fishing world, or where are you guys heads at in terms of what you want to do after college now, after the experience you guys have had?
I want to go chase the opens and eventually make the elites. To me, the elites is the pinnacle of bass fishing, and I want to be a pro fisherman. I have since I was a little kid. That's the goal. I think college series has given me a nice stepping stone into that. It makes you fish a diverse range of fisheries and against some of the best. And a lot of college guys go on to make the elites, the ones that are up there being competitive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I want to, I don't know about the elites. I don't know what where the career is going to take me. Professional fishing has been a dream of mine, like he said, since I was a little boy. I think I don't believe that I'm going to make my living bass fishing. I think I'll be working, having, try like to own my own company. But it's one of them things that I'm going to do it at some point in my life, whether that be right out of college. I travel for a few years and go after it hard, or, build up a business and then go do it after I've kind of got a business built for myself. So it's going to be at some point in my life, I'm going to travel and fish professionally, whether that be for, the opens or, or whether that be for the Toyota series, just kind of wherever the Lord leads me. But it's a dream. So, and this weekend is just put it into play a little bit.
Let's kind of focus on, the lead up to this tournament. This is, I'm not going to say your home lake, but you guys are familiar with Hartwell. Like going into this tournament, this is a lake that you guys know better than most.
Yes, sir.
So, going into it, I'm sure you guys were feeling confident. How was, what were the conditions like during practice fishing, and what were you guys, kind of learning as you kind of fished that lake and trying to dial in on a pattern?
Well, so started, as soon as that we figured out that the National Championship was on Hartwell, and just as soon as we figured out, we were out there, looking and just practicing and looking for new areas, looking for new piles, and looking just looking for new places, and just because Hartwell typically is a run and gun style fishery, where you hit fish 50 to 80 spots in a day, and we didn't catch them like that in the tournament, but going into the tournament, that's always the expectation for just about any tournament. So I spent about 2 days a week out there, 2 days a week out there every week leading up to the off limits. And then I'll let him tell you a little bit more about practice.
Since I lived a little far away over the summer, I didn't get to come down much. I came down the last day before the off limits. But once we got started for practice on Sunday, we, after talking it over with ourselves and seeing kind of what the offshore bite was looking like, we chose to focus on fishing shallow, fishing in the Tougaloo River and possibly in the Seneca River as well. So we spent our whole first day up the Tougaloo, and it was kind of tough for us. We were seeing some of what we wanted to see. Our goal was to chase brim beds and wolfpack and fish shallow, and because we felt like we couldn't go out there and compete with the true herring guys, the people that came in second and third in the tournament. Tyler Campbell, Parker Guy,
and they were picked to win the tournament. Yeah. Like everybody, that's what
Tyler Campbell guides on Hartwell all the time, and we felt like we couldn't go out there and win this tournament out there doing the same thing. Yeah, we're just not. That's not our area of expertise. So with back into practice, we made a decision to try to fish the way we felt more comfortable fishing, and that was, like I said, up shallow in the rivers, focusing on brim beds and wolfpack fish.
Mm-hmm. And like he said, I didn't really know coming into the tournament. I didn't know. I guess the first 2 days, it was really a struggle. We saw some fish that we saw some things that we knew that those are big fish. We might can come back and catch those in the tournament. Kind of like seeing them wolfpacking around brim beds and stuff. But the third day of practice was when we realized okay, we've had a really good practice. We caught some good ones on the third day of practice, and that was kind of like when we realized okay, if we can capitalize on our bites and we can make the right decisions and put the fish in the boat, we might have a chance to win. And that was when it really clicked. And
something right quick about this that last day of practice is Monday night. We had our practice day for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday leading into this tournament, and Monday night was the full moon, which I don't know how, but like when you have a full moon is when the brim spawn. That's your brim beds. That's your prime brim bed time of year. It's when your full moon's from like May to August.
Gotcha. So that was very much in your mind in terms of your strategy going to the tournament. Like, we've got the moon cycle in our favor. Let's work with this.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back after the break.
You're talking about those wolfpacking fish. Is that more largemouth? I know there's some spotted bass in that lake too, but is that more largemouth you guys are finding up shallow?
Yeah, for the most part. It depends on where you're at in the lake, but it's mostly largemouth. You'll see a decent sized spot in there every now and then. Like we caught one the first day. It was like a 3-pound spot out of
it. Was a key. It was a key fish.
Oh yeah. Sure.
We funny story about the first day of the tournament. Every day we've got a brief story about every day of how it led and just kind of fit together for us to win the tournament. It's just kind of crazy how it all went down. But I guess it was about 12 o'clock when we doubled up, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 12 o'clock.
So about 12 o'clock, we were we wouldn't tell each other this in the tournament, but we were definitely starting to stress a little bit because we only had about 8 pounds, and we were like, "Oh, come on, when is it going to happen? When's it going to happen?" And sure enough, I mean, when those wolfpacking fish, we've talked about it a lot. They're vicious. I mean, they're like sharks feeding on their prey. I mean, if you throw a bait in front of there, they might run up there and miss it, but they are going to come up there like sharks trying to eat it. So we saw a wolf pack of about 10 fish. He saw it, and about 10 fish swimming down the bank. And I fired in there and caught a 3 3/4, and he threw, as soon as the fish bit my bait, he threw in there, and we doubled up. We doubled up on a 3-pounder and an almost 4-pounder. And that was, if that wouldn't have happened, obviously we wouldn't have won. That was such a key moment on day one that helped it. We only had 12 pounds, but man, like if we wouldn't have had that, obviously, we wouldn't have had the final total that enabled us to win. So.
Yeah. And I'm, just looking broadly, like you guys really climbed your way to the top here, coming in 22nd day one, then moving up to third day two. And then, obviously you guys really showed up in a big way the final day. You had the biggest weight of the whole event. We can get into that here in a little bit, but that was going to be one thing I asked about is whether you guys were changing your tactics, and that's how you guys were able to, catch a little bit bigger bag each day. But what it sounds like is you guys just kind of stuck with your strategy and honed in on it and found just the right spots where some willing fish were.
Yeah, just putting our heads down and making really good decisions. Decision making and execution was the two biggest things this week because you only get so many chances. When you're shallow, you're fishing, especially this time of year, you're fishing for 5 to 7 quality bites a day. And when you get a bite, you got to put it in the boat.
Got to. And
that's what happened the first day was lack of execution. We had some more bites the first day. It just didn't quite fall our way.
Yeah. That's the problem with it. I mean, it's so like it can go downhill in a hurry. And, like he said, if you're only getting 5 to 7 bites a day and you only put 3 of them in the boat, it's hard. I mean, and that's the second day. I mean, we had 16-1 on the second day, and we still had 2.5 pound fish in our live well. We got 3 good bites. We put them in the boat. We got 5 good bites on the second day of the tournament, but we only put 3 of them in the boat. So we still had 2 like little ones in our bag. But it doesn't matter now, but it definitely going into day 3, like we were scared. We were like, man, if we could have caught those fish, we were definitely scared a little bit. But anyways, it all worked out. So.
Right. And you guys are seeing other teams using totally different tactics, and they're coming in with heavy bags. I mean, those guys that came in second, they were pretty consistently leading. So I imagine that might have made you guys second guess for just a bit. But no, I mean, you stuck with your plan. I'm curious what the weather conditions were like. I mean, it sounds like you guys were, sight casting to some of these fish, or at least seeing them. So, I mean, did you guys have favorable skies? I mean, you guys could see pretty well, it sounds like.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
It was bluebird skies for the most part, slight breeze here and there. That, every now and then you'd have some wind kick up, but it wasn't too bad. We had, bluebird skies for most of the tournament.
Yeah.
And what baits were you guys really kind of relying on those few days, or were they changing?
Well, the first day, like we missed out big time. Like we kind of missed out on a bite that we figured out on the second day. Like the first day, we never picked up a buzz bait. We threw a buzz bait all throughout practice. The first day, we caught our fish on a prop bait and a walking bait up shallow. And the second day, we ended up. He tied on a buzzbait that night, and, we just thought we'd give it a try because our morning bite from the first day was not very good in the areas that we were fishing. So we kind of just, in that same general area, but kind of targeted a little bit different things with that buzzbait, like steeper pockets opposed to flat pockets and stuff like that, some steeper pockets with rock. And tell them about the first cast.
All right, so day 2, we're starting out. We're down a little bit of a chunk. We knew we need like 15, 16 pounds to jump
a big
up,
bag,
make a cut, which – 15, 16 pounds is a great bag this time of year on Hartwell. So we knew we had to really catch him, try to jump inside this cut and take a run at it. Well, we run in this first pocket. We hadn't fished the first day, but historically it's been really, really good. We run in, drop the trolling motor. I stand up on the front deck, grab a buzz bait, drop the trolling motor, look at him and said, all right, 15 pounds today. Throw out there, hits the water, 2 cranks, caught a 5-pounder. First cast of the morning.
Unreal.
At that point, you're like, my day's either done or it's going to be just banner.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We looked like it's on the day, and it was on from there.
And then he trolled around that same pocket within another probably 15 minutes. 15 minutes later, trolled around the other pocket and made another cast on a piece of wood and caught another 5-pounder. So
cool. And then did you stick with the buzz bait from there? I mean, was that kind of your doing most of your work?
So it's kind of a feeling thing, but you fish. Buzzbait was really key in the mornings when it was still cool, because we had a little bit of, like I say, slight cold front. It was in the mornings, it was 62, 65 degrees in that range. And they would bite that buzzbait really good up until the sun started getting on them about 9:30, 10 o'clock. So we started out with buzzbait in the mornings. And then once the sun got up on them hard, we started once again focusing back on our brim bed fish and our wolfbacking fish, running, where we knew they were, or where we hoped they would be, with our walking bait and the prop bait.
Cool. And in terms of staying on those brim beds, I got to ask about forward-facing sonar, because it's such a big topic these days. It's hard not to at least bring it up in conversation. Were you guys using forward-facing sonar to find the beds, or you guys are just looking at structure, looking at the parts of the lake where these brim are hanging out?
Yeah, we didn't turn it on.
Yeah, we didn't turn it on. We had a little deal figured out in practice that if all else failed, we could go out there and catch some little ones and just salvage our bag. But thank the Lord, we didn't have to lean on that in the tournament. But as far as the brim beds go, we could almost it got to the point where the water was dropping constantly throughout the week. We could tell, because like some of the objects and things that we were throwing at on the first day of practice or the first day of the tournament, by the end of the tournament, were almost out of the water. So we were able to, we could about pick out a pocket and say, depending on the contour of the pocket, if it was steeper, if it had some rock, you could about pick it out eventually and say there's going to be some brim beds right there. It was just it was a pretty patternable deal. It's pretty easy to find the brim beds once you kind of figured out what kind of pockets they were using.
Yeah, we could literally ride down the lake and be like, oh, there's some in that pocket, pull over there and catch one by the end of the tournament.
Man, that's awesome. And did you see a lot of other teams using this same strategy? I know that the guys who were leading it the first couple of days, like you said, they were chasing herring out in the main lake and big schools of bait. But did you see other people fishing shallow, or were you guys kind of one of the only teams kind of leaning into that?
So we didn't see anybody else fishing shallow except for our teammate, Hampton Shull. He led the first day. He was doing the brim bed deal, and he had a great day the first day. He had 17 pounds. But outside of him, we didn't talk to anyone that was fishing shallow, really. We didn't see any other boats running the deal at all. Everybody would be like in the middle of the river channel scoping, or out on cane piles scoping. And we had another couple teams we talked to that had done some of the shallow deal and stuff like that, but we were the only ones, us and our other team in Hampton, that had fully committed to it.
Just going back to just this whole world of college bass fishing, that's got to be an interesting dynamic where you've got, sure, this guy's your buddy, but as soon as the tournament day starts, you guys are in your own boat fishing for yourselves.
Yeah, and we were happy for him that he led the first day. We were really happy for him. I was hoping he could go out there and catch another big bag, and if it was meant to be for us to catch a big bag, we would, and it was. So we did that. So I was thankful for that.
Yeah, well, that's a good segue. Let's focus on day 3. What was it? Just a little over? You guys had a 20-pound bag, maybe a little more. What was that? Would you guys come in the final weigh-in?
We had 20 pounds, 9 ounces. So it was the biggest bag of the tournament by, I think, 40 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
man, so let's lead with the story, because you mentioned, Andrew, you said I got a story for every day of this tournament, so I got to hear what the final day 3 story is.
Well, the reason the big bag on day 3 felt so good, not only to have won the tournament, but just to so pretty much, we had fished in the first 2 days of the tournament. We fished in the same area. We fished in the Tougaloo River. We had just a milk run of pockets that we knew were good. A lot of different shallow pockets, and we had one creek that was pretty good to us that we had a few pockets in there we'd fish. But, after those 2 days of fishing hard in there, we felt like those fish were burnt up. We felt like we had beat up on them pretty hard, and we knew we could go back up there and catch fish, but we didn't know that we didn't think we could go up there and catch a big bag of a winning caliber bag to chase down the leaders and win. So probably the coolest thing for us that just made it feel so good to catch a big bag is we just completely scrapped our old area that we had confidence in. We just scrapped it and said, nope, we've got to go figure out how to catch a bigger bag. So we ran historically, we knew it was good just from fishing in the past and tournament experience on Lake Hartwell. We knew it was good, but like I said, we didn't practice up there much at all, and we just headed up there and fished. We just put our heads down and fished a completely new area to us, and it worked out. And but the story was at the end of the day, and then we can talk about the other fish catches. But at the end of the day, we had about 17 pounds in the live well, and we knew that for us to win with 17 pounds on the final day, we knew that the other guys would have to slip up and they would have to catch like 10 or 12 pounds. And I'm just going to tell you, Tyler Campbell and Parker Guy, they do not slip up. Like, that just does not happen. They don't. They're not going to slip up. We can't bank on them slipping up because they're just going to catch them every time. And sure enough, they did. They had 16 pounds, 16 something, and that's a great bag on Hartwell. That would win about any local tournament. But anyways, he caught a 6.5 in the last about 45 minutes, and we had 17 at the time, and then we pulled up into this pocket that we both knew was pretty good, and I saw about a 3-pounder sitting on the set of brim beds right beside this dock. And I saw a 3-pounder. We had a 2.5 in the live well. So I was like, well, shoot, in my head, I'm like, that'll be an upgrade. That might bump us up to 18 or so. So I throw my bait up there. I get hung on the dock, and I'm like, dude, you've got to be kidding me. I've done screwed it up. So since I got hung in the dock, he skips his whack. He was throwing a weightless Senko in this instance, and he skipped it up under the dock. And as soon as his bait hit the water, I see a fish. I see like just the fish swimming out from under the dock, and he says, I've got one. And he set the hook into him, and it came up and jumped. And I mean, man, we thought it was an 8-pounder. I mean, we thought it was just a monster, and it wrapped him up in a brush pile. Yeah, you can tell him about the brush pile.
It literally, so when it came out from the dock, it was just a black mass.
We knew it was huge.
It was huge. And there's a bunch of docks in this pocket, but it literally just took off and beeline for one out there at the mouth of the pocket. I mean, it jumped. When I said look, it jumped, it landed and just took off for that dock. I mean, just straight screaming, peel and drag. And we're trolling over, like chasing it down.
On 10.
Like just trying to go catch up to it.
On 10.
I mean, it was going for that dock. That was its home, was that dock. And it got over there, got wrapped up in the brush, and we're trying to get down there to it and knock it loose. Well, all of a sudden, it comes up straight out of the pile, and there's only like 3 foot of water between us and the cable that runs beside this dock to help hold it in position. Fish comes up and jumps right there in front of us. We're like, oh my God. It lands and goes straight back down the brush pile.
Straight back
back down into the pile. Gets hung up again. All of a sudden it comes out, goes up to jump, then he nets it.
Man,
and
that's awesome.
Yeah, we hollered a lot. We about lost our voice too.
And so that's you got at that point you're calling a fish and heading back to weigh-in. I mean, you can't top that, right?
Yeah, I mean we had about 45 minutes till it was time to weigh in. I mean, not to sound cocky in any sort of way, but we spot locked in the middle of the pocket and we drank us a few waters and ate us a sandwich. I mean,
there you go, man. That's an awesome moment. Obviously one of the most high pressure catches, but probably one of the bigger bass you've caught at one of these college tournaments.
Yeah.
Well, man, that's awesome. I guess, just kind of open the floor to any other defining moments. I mean, you guys have given me some great stuff from the tournament, but if there's, I'm thinking of any other moments where, I know you guys were up against it on the first day, but any other moments where you're kind of like, all right, I think we've got a good chance of winning this thing.
Well, the third morning, I mean,
it's pretty fun.
Third morning, we started another pocket that I knew was pretty good, and I'm throwing buzz bait. And first, 5 minutes, there's a brushy dock up there. It's got a little bit of wood up on the bank. Throw up there, catch a 4.5 pounder, just like that. And we looked at each other like, okay, we might have a chance today to go run them down. And we proceeded to just absolutely put a hurting on them for the next 7.5 hours.
I mean, it was, I don't know, it just coming, I don't know. It's crazy to have won this tournament. I mean, we have, ever since they said it was going to be on Hartwell, we were looking forward to it. We were putting the time in on the water, and it is just unbelievable. Something that happened on the third morning. It's kind of funny. We were in third place going into the final day, and so they, we're all tied. All the top 12 anglers, we're tied up to the dock, and we didn't really I knew that it would take a huge bag to win that morning. I knew it was like, and going into it was like, it's going to take a big bag to win. But we were more just going out there to have fun because we had top 10 the national championship. That was the coolest thing for us. And at no point did we think that we actually could catch 20 plus pounds and win the tournament. I mean, it was unbelievable. But anyways, we were kind of just joking in the morning. But they were interviewing people on the dock. Well, they interviewed fourth, second, and first. They literally walked right by us. And we're like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're not getting the interview this morning.
Oh, yeah.
And then I looked at him, and my dad was standing right there with us. I was like, well, we're going to give him a reason to interview us after the tournament. So,
man, that's awesome. Congrats again. I know you guys have got a lot more, a lot more ahead. You've got the college bracket coming up. You're going to be focusing on that. And I wish you guys the best of luck. We'll be kind of watching you guys and seeing how everything shakes out.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the time that you've given us. It was good talking to you.
Yeah, it's been nice. Thank you.
The Outdoor Life podcast is edited by Mike Pedersen of 85 Audio. It's normally hosted by our editor-in-chief, Alex Robinson. But today, it was hosted by our news editor, Dac Collins. And it's produced by me, executive editor Natalie Krebs. For more about how the best bass fishing in the U.S. is happening at the collegiate level, go to outdoorlife.com/collegebass. That's outdoorlife.com/collegebass. Music in this episode is composed and performed by Pierre Locatelli via APM Music.